What's up, everybody? BJ with Byram's Custom Woodworks. Start of a new year. We've got some new changes coming to the shop and the business. So I figured, why not go ahead and record a shop tour and kind of go around small shop, just to give you a background on what the shop is. So right now we're in a two-car garage, roughly 490 square feet. We have right at 9-foot ceilings, 9 or 10-foot ceilings in here. So it gives me plenty of room up top to store stuff. So we're kind of going to start the tour where I walk into the shop at. So we've got, first thing I do normally when I walk into the shop is I'll throw my apron on, turn the lights on, and then turn on. So we got the wind air filtration system. We'll kick that on just so air is already circulating inside the shop. And then behind the apron is my original sticker wall. Had an old mirror that we had on the door years ago when I moved in, 6-7 years ago. Just threw this up, and just over time I've kind of collected stickers from everybody. And I'll show you the new sticker wall and how we still need to add to it over time. And I'd actually kind of like to get back with some of these old makers that I've got stickers from to get them for the new sticker wall, just so we can expand the new sticker wall and possibly get rid of this mirror or go back to where it is just a mirror. And so to my right is my paint cabinet. So I'm going to bring y'all in a little closer so you can see this. So some of the paints and stuff that I use occasionally, we've got some glues and silicones for mold making, little paint stands in here, sandpaper that I use for, if I need to, redo a chisel, real well. So label maker that I need to start using more. I bought it, I need to actually use it. Let's see what else. Got an old respirator in there, stir sticks for epoxy. I bought a bunch of these little 1-ounce little cups that are great. Let's see if we can focus. These things are great if you just need to do a little bitty tiny pour, fixing knots and stuff, just so you're not having to pour, an ounce, because I think these might be a 1/2 ounce or right at an ounce or something. And the other jars I was using were right at, you had to pour at least a 2 ounce just because of the measurements on it. And let's see, go from there. So up top's all car care and stuff. So that's all automotive stuff, for detailing and everything. Back when I used to do that more, I still keep a little bit of it in here. And then so over here is back out a little, no, the other way. So some other paints and stuff I use. So that's all where I keep all the gallon paints. When we need to buy them, just stuff that I've collected over the years, and spray paints that I use more than anything go here. And of course, got my gloves. I use these. I found these, and this is a kind of a maker hack for me. Found these little bowls at IKEA for like $1 for this whole pack, and I use them for finish. If I'm doing boiled linseed oil or Danish oil or something, I'll pour it in here and go from there. And like I said, they're cheap and they're kind of pretty. What else? I've got my box of woodpeckers. What are these? The maintenance kits. Sorry, mine went blank. So these are all my woodpeckers maintenance kits. So it's got the little wax tubs in here. I give out with every cutting board that I do. And we'll go this way around the shop. And so this is the Shapeoko. I bought this right at 2 years ago, somewhere in there, 1.5 years ago. Shapeoko XXL, And I pretty much run everything off of one of these little Bluetooth keyboards, which makes it really nice. So, and I run, right now, I've got an old MacBook Air that runs the CNC, and it's connected to, I went and bought a cheap 42-inch 4K TV. I think Best Buy had one on sale for like 150 bucks. And that's my computer monitor. And also it's got Roku on it. So if I'm out here, I can watch TV, you know, watch a game or something whenever that's on. And then we're using, so on the Shapeoko, I've got the Suckit Pro model, the clear dust boot. So that's pretty much everything. So underneath the cabinet, 48 by 48 table, it's got, you know, the computer in here. I keep some random tools and stuff here in the drawer. And then, oh, I missed one thing. Let's go back a little bit. So, and then, so just before that is my Jet 1632 drum sander. And then below that, which you can see, is my Rigid lunchbox planer. So I keep them on a cart together. It's a little harder to get to the planer right now for big stuff. Little stuff works great because I can just pull the hose over from the Shapeoko, hook it to it, and we're good with dust or shavings, really, since the planer doesn't really do dust. It's more just the shavings. And they're in a mobile cart, so I can pull it out, get to it when I need it, and then push it back up against the wall when I'm not using it. So and from there, so let's work our way over this way. I'll take y'all with me. And then, so over here is kind of my drill, got my Win drill or drill press, and this is the 5-inch or 6-inch model. It works great for what I use it for. I really don't use a drill press all that often, but it works. It works great. Cut plugs with it, different things like that. And I've got an old, this is something my dad gave me years and years ago. It's an old Delta 15-inch stroll saw. I really honestly haven't used it since I got my bandsaw. It just hasn't been a big need. I'll use it every once in a while if I need to do something fine. I need to get new blades for it because the blades I have for it aren't the best. I just bought some cheaper ones at one of the big box stores. And then over from that is my Ryobi belt and disc sander, which I use that all the time. Just sucks right now because it's not hooked up to dust collection, so it just kind of dumps dust everywhere. But for I need it for, when I need it, it works. You know, where it's at, it's great. Then underneath the cabinet, as you can see, I've got just some house goods, you know, gardening stuff, different things like that. I've got an old, you can't see it, but I've got a toolbox that my grandfather gave me that was his years and years and years and years ago. He built it, and it had just some of his carpentry tools in it. I've actually got a Stanley No. 7 that he gave me that I use. It's kind of one of my pride and joys. But we'll get over to that. So above that is my lumber rack. This is all hardwood, except one piece of plywood that's there. So I keep all my hardwoods over here that I've, usually what I'll try to do if I'm doing a project, I'll buy, 10-20% more than what I need, and it just gets stacked up there and use it as I need it. So, and you can see right up there is a train track. So that's actually an upcoming project that we're gonna be working on. And other than that, that's really it. So we'll swing around here. Ooh. Oh, you better move this camera around. So here is the existing sticker wall, just sitting in the garage door. I just took a piece of that brown hardy board, whatever, cut it down to fit inside the door, and just as I collect stickers, we go from there, add them up. So over from that is my upgraded, and soon to be even more upgraded, Harbor Freight dust collector. It's the 2 horsepower model. It does great. So I've got everything running to all the main tools. You can see that pipe going up that goes over to the CNC machine and the drum sander. It works great. That run It pulls everything over. I have a little issues with the CNC, just I think it's mainly because the hose I have for the CNC is so long. I need to trim it down. All right, on from the sticker wall and the dust collector. So this is what every woodworker, the bane of every woodworker's existence is, part of my scrap wood stack or stash. And it's everything from just some random projects that I've finished, made for vendor fairs and that never sold, to I've got a ton of red oak cutoffs from signs that I've made. I've got some cedar and some other hardwoods. Try to keep them all separate. So red oak kind of right here. Got some pine and stuff here. Or cedar cutoffs. I had a buddy give me a bunch of cedar cutoffs a while back. I was going to do something with them, just never really have. We've got maple and some walnut and Paduke over there. And then down from there, so this is the miter saw station. So we've got the rigid compound miter saw. So it's all built-in enclosure. It does a decent job of dust collection. I still have the old fence on it. We're still using that. I'm thinking in the upgraded version that's going to be coming soon, we're going to do away with the fence completely. I'm kind of liking that design because I've had some issues with when the weather changes, it gets hot or cold. This stuff moves because it's just a 2x4 bench. I actually use the design that Bob from I Like to Make Stuff did. It's actually his same design for the miter saw bench that he used. I just made it my own. Mine's a little smaller than his, and that's one of the upgrades with the next one is I need at least a 6 to 7 foot capacity on one end, and right now I don't have that. So we're kind of stuck on that just because each side is right at 4 feet. So I run into some issues cutting some bigger stuff where it wants to fall off on one end. What else? And got some extra storage up here. This is actually some black cherry that the pastor, one of my pastor friends gave me. He actually got cut down on some property that he had many moons ago, and I think he said he drove around with it in the bed of his truck for 2 or 3 years. So it's plenty dry, and he had it under a bed cover. So I've checked it, it's all pretty dry. I'm going to turn it into a cutting board for him and his wife eventually. One of these days I'll get to it. And then, so up here is just some scrap, just whatever, storage. I just had some old metal shelving or wall hangers. Put those up there. That's kind of the forget about it zone because I've got the rail for the garage door in the way. So it's a little harder to get to when I need to. I used to use sawhorses all the time, and I don't anymore just because I have more workbenches than I used to. What I did is because I like to still have them, is I just took them, made a little plywood shelf, and put some bungee cords around them, and they just kind of hang out up there. And if I ever need them, I can just hop up there real quick and get them down. And then going on from that, I zoomed in on my beautiful face. From there, tilt it down. So, had a little art on the wall. So that's a plane that we cut for a customer years ago back when we were doing some of the metal signs. They never showed up to pick it up, and so now it's on the wall as art. And then since we are, we're big supporters of our local team, which is the Roy City Bulldogs, so made that sign made a couple of those, figured I'd make one for myself just to hang up in the shop. This is one of the newest tool additions. I actually got it from a buddy of mine on Facebook and Instagram. It is just so I don't butcher it, I don't remember what this was. It's a Sargent plane, I believe. Needs a little bit of work. It's one of my goals to completely refinish it, get it cleaned up. Needs a new blade. Other than that, it's a good stout little hand plane. I'm going to be able to use this more, so we'll get it up and running. And you can't really see it as well just because I'm in the middle of working on a project. But I have the just like Bob from I Like to Make Stuff did. I went to Home Depot and bought these little storage bins, keep all the screws and everything in there, and then just made a quick little shelf. So one of the goals again on the new workbench, because I've already run out of space in these, the new miter station will have room for 2 or 3 more shelves of these, so we have plenty of room, and then just overflow stuff when we got it. And then down from that, so this is an old toolbox that my grandpa gave me, and it's kind of got some more just wrenches and screwdrivers and stuff in it, just extra stuff that I don't keep in the big one, which I didn't show y'all, and it's actually right at the door. I should have shown y'all that when I was there, but we'll circle back to that. And then from that, so we'll go over here to the tool wall. All right, so all right, this is my hand tool wall. I've got everything from Rockler bench cookies. Got some sanding belts for the little belt sander that I've got. We've got, the Japanese pull saws that I absolutely love. I started out using this little cheapie that I bought from Harbor Freight, and it works. I mean, they're like $5-10. They're not bad. If you're in a hurry and you got to cut something that's covered in glue, why not use the cheapie? That's why I still use it. I keep it in here, but I prefer the Japanese saws. They just cut so much better, and the kerf is so much thinner, and it does a phenomenal job. I'm honestly mad at myself that I waited so long to buy one of these, because I've only had these for a couple months now, and I love them. Got that, and then I've got the razor saw, which I always keep the guard on, the little plastic cover that came with it on, just because when they say it's a razor saw, this thing's laid me open once or twice, but yeah, live and learn. And I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a little sign up there on the top that actually came from my original workbench that I built, and wife was out here helping me with something, and she got creative and she wrote mine and her name and the kids' names on it. And when I got rid of the old workbench and we replaced it, I went ahead and cut that little sliver off and put it back on the tool wall. And then down from there, so we've got all the some of the woodpecker measuring tools. We've got the 12-inch square, and then everything from the 48-inch down to the 6-inch ruler, which I use them all the time. I absolutely love them. I didn't really know what I was missing, and I'm slowly building up that collection of woodpecker tools as we go. Down from that is my clamp rack. It's ever expanding. It's pretty much at capacity now. I need to build a few more hangers for smaller clamps, just because I kind of make it a point every time I turn around. If I'm at Harbor Freight or somewhere, I'll pick up some of the small 6-inch clamps. I find myself using those more than anything, and I always find myself running out of them when I need them. From there, so bike hanging on the wall, and then so this rack is kind of ever evolving. So right now it's got my California air compressor in it. Love that thing. It's super quiet. I can run it in here all day long. It's and still carry on a conversation, hear music playing, whatever. It doesn't bug us too much. Down from that, so we'll go down here. So this all came from one tree. Had a friend cut down a walnut tree, or it died, and he called me up and said, "Hey, do you want the tree?" So I've slowly been milling it up. I've had it probably for about a year now. We're slowly milling it up to get it, ready to make, charcuterie boards or whatever out of it. Now there's a little bit of oak in here. Cool story. So this oak that is here is actually from a 100-plus-year-old tree that died here locally. Actually, when they were cutting it down, I got to meet the guy that grew up in the house that the tree was growing at, And he told me stories of, when when he was a kid, them hanging out underneath the tree and everything. So once that's all dry and ready to go, I'm gonna make him something for that. All right, and so from there, so this is my drill whatever station. It was kind of inspired by Sean Stone from Stone & Sons. And so I've got, keep all my drills handy. And yeah, I've got 4 different drills, 2 different impacts, 2 different drills. And you'll be amazed how handy that comes in, because there have been times I have been using all 4 of them for one project because it was such a repetitive thing, and it works. So below it's, charging station, keep all the batteries good. Got my brad nailers, again, Harbor Freight specials. I know there's, I'll catch some flack from some people, but I love them. They work, they're cheap, and if they die, I can go buy 5, with a coupon for the price of 1, of some of the big names, and these work great. I've got the newer brad nailer that they're selling, the Banks, and I absolutely love this thing. Or not brad, pin nailer. I love this. I did not know how great a pin nailer would be until I bought one. That's one thing that I think every shop should have in it, is a pin nailer. And then going from there, so slide over here. So these are all French cleat, but they're kind of all separate. I need to actually build a French cleat wall one of these days. So I keep all my finishes. I've got some epoxy stuff up top. I've got my Walrus Oil banner. Just got to represent. Got to love them. Some of the finishes I use, and of course we've got the shop foreman. Mr. Ron Swanson hanging out in the shop, and then some random fish hook that my son showed up with one day that he found in the pond out by the house. Over from there, so my glue rack, and then one thing that I actually found, which is great, these little tattoo bottles. They are great for keeping finishes, or I keep mineral oil in it. So I'm working on a board or something, quick oil. I've got one with water in it too, just so I can raise the drain real easy. And then of course, ode to Paul Jackman. Sorry, ode to Paul Jackman. I've got my peanut butter jar full of acid brushes, and I've got a few peanut butter and mayonnaise jars around here that I keep random things in. And then all my Walrus oil that I use. Glue, all Type Bond. That's all we use. Excuse there's a brand we don't talk about up here. That's why it's labeled face backwards, because tried it. Some people swear by it. It's junk, and we don't monkey around in the shop. Down from there is, so when I said random mayonnaise and peanut butter jars, I keep all my old sandpaper, unless it is just completely trash, because it's great for little tiny projects when you need it. That's all the 5-inch sandpaper, and then I keep all the 6-inch for the new sander there. The other thing I use, I actually found this at my buddy's barber shop. They use them, to wet hair with, and I needed a spray bottle, to raise the drain on board. So I was like, oh, why not? Let me get a cool, it kind of looks like a Jack Daniels bottle, and it works great. It also gets the kids out of the shop real quick when you need them to leave. Or the cats too. They run quick. What else? Klingspor sandpaper. It's really the only sandpaper that gets used. And this is for the jet drum sander, which it is made by Klingspor. That's why we like it. Another little quick removal rack for my 5-inch sanding disc. I need to build one for the 6-inch. So that's nice. Little tape rack. Keeps all the tapes organized. We'll go up here. So this is where's that? I can't point. The metal sign that I made for myself. Made it a couple years ago. I kind of like it. It's fun. And then, so got a world flag cutout that I did a while back. And all right, oh, so the workbench, the tool chest, so it's just a Husky 40 something inch or 50 something inch tool chest. I keep random tools in it, and it's got so all my router bits and everything. I keep a ratchet set in here. Apparently a battery that has popped that I didn't know was in there. Extra CNC parts for the Shapeoko. What else? Sharpening stuff, different things like that. Some sanding discs and files and stuff. So yeah, that's it. So let's go over some of the newest additions to the shop, which we'll start with. I'll spin you around here. And so the new workbench, and we're working on a slab right now, doing some epoxy work in it. So I haven't got the handle yet for the vise. It's just a 10-inch vise. I gotta tighten a few things up on it. So workbench is, let me see, so it's 49, 48 this way, and then a little over 6 feet this direction. All the legs are 6x6 milled down. It's actually just 3 2x6s jointed together, glued together, and then milled down to roughly 6x6, and then mortise and tenon for all the legs, so it kind of locks together. It's a beast. It's super heavy. I don't know the exact weight, but it's 300-400 pounds. It's not light. Moving it is definitely going to be fun. The top is 1.5 inches thick. It's MDF on the bottom, and then melamine, 3/4 inch melamine on the top with a red oak edge banding, which we're probably going to replace this here pretty soon. And then behind that, which we'll walk over here real quick. And so kind of the centerpiece of the shop, which every shop, is a table saw. So, and it is the Ridgid, the newer Ridgid. I don't know the exact model number. I don't keep up with that stuff. And I've done some improvements as far as for the dust collection. Tape some stuff off, because that's the biggest complaint with the Ridgid saw, is the dust collection is atrocious. But I've got it. It works. It's not great, but it works. I did add the Shop Fox fence. So it's the Aluma Classic, and it's nice. It normally slides great. If you get caught on something. But it's super precise. Took a little work just because I had to drill out a few new holes in the top. I've added an extension down here. I think what we're going to end up doing is replacing this with an extension wing 2, so to give us a little extra width, for doing sheets of plywood and stuff like that. I've got a track saw that I use most of the time, but that extra 3-4 inches, it might never hurt. And then behind that, one of my favorite new tools is the Laguna 1412 1 3/4 horse, 1 1/4 horse. I don't remember exactly. I think it's the 1 3/4 horse. I pretty much keep the 3/4 inch resaw king blade on it. Its primary use is resawing. I do want to get a second smaller bandsaw that I can keep a smaller blade on for doing some bandsaw boxes and different things like that. And also it kind of doubles as the overflow for stickers. So if I have somebody, if I get 2 stickers from somebody, I'll throw a sticker up here. So if you want 2 places in the shop, 2, not 4, 2. Send me 2 stickers. I'll throw one on the sticker board and I'll throw one on the bandsaw. until this gets full. Then we'll start working down the legs. So she's a workhorse. I probably don't go a day in the shop without turning this on. And I've got a couple jigs built up for it, for resawing larger stuff. So this is my log system. Get this out of the way. It just sits in here in the track. Log bolts right here, which I don't know if you can see this. So log bolts here, and then it's got track, so I can adjust it in and out. And then the cool thing is I can take this top off, and I've got clamps that sit in this in the T-track that I can, join a board if I needed to. But the next tool that I'm going to show you, which is the newest addition to the shop, and come to find out it's actually the same age as I am, so it's a great year. That's going to be replacing my joining sled on my bandsaw and my table saw for the longer boards. So let's go check that out. So the latest and greatest addition to the shop is from what I can tell and what I've been told, is you can't see me. Who wants to see me, right? But you probably saw it when I was going over the tool wall. It is a Powermatic PM50. So it has a 6-inch bed. It's roughly, I want to say it's a 1985 model. My research said it was a 1981. The guy I bought it from said it was an 83. I had a friend look up the serial number. He said it's an 85 based on the color. And I'm slowly painting it. So it had some rust spots on it. So you can see right here. So we've got really cleaned this up. I took some good before pictures, and they'll be on the Instagram. We've got this primed right now. I don't necessarily know what color I'm going to go with. I'm really thinking, at least for the cabinet itself, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine that does auto body paint, and I'm going to have it painted kind of like the old Powermatic table saw that Mark Spagnola had. So kind of do the flame job on it. I think that's going to look cool. Or I might do a ghosted version or pinstripe version of my logo on the front of it. That's kind of up in the air, because if I ever try to sell it, having my logo on it might not be so hot to the person that's buying it. But yeah, I don't plan on selling it anytime soon, because she's a beast. Powers up, it's got great motor. It's needs a little TLC. That's why I'm painting it, just to kind of clean up the rust. It had all kinds of grime and gunk on it. I mean, it's been used for 34 years. You can't expect a piece of equipment to sit around for 34 years without, gathering a little bit of dust. Needs improved dust collection, just because back then dust collection wasn't a thing. All things to come, and we'll do some update videos on it. I haven't decided yet if I want to completely disassemble it and upgrade, replace some pieces. But so far right now, the bed runs fine. The beds are level. They do what they need to do. I think really just painting it is really all it needs. I am, though, going to upgrade to a Shelix head cutter, just because I think it'll do a better job than the straight knives. Kind of want everybody's opinion on that, what they think. Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much the shop. I guess I can show you this. So this is my, everybody has a branding iron. I use a hot plate. So I just got on Amazon a little $10 hot plate for the brand. You see it there? So I'd leave it on there for 10-15 minutes and it's good to go. What else? That's honestly, that's really it. That's the shop. We'll spin you around here to get another view of everything. And that's it. That's the shop. Probably a year down the road, I'll do another shop tour, show the updates, and yeah, and we'll go from there. Y'all have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this, and hopefully we'll get some more videos out here pretty shortly. Talk to you later.